And a very good evening, everybody. Welcome into your box seat, brought to you in association with Sweetloo, standing at Woodland Stud. Some wonderful shots there from Alexandra Park. Many of those races we'll review tonight, of course. Craig the Whale Thompson was out there, and those yellow colours were at it again.
Yeah, they backed up from a week early, didn't they, Greg? Very good evening to you, Michael, and the viewers as well. Fantastic night, wasn't it? Monbet, obviously the highlight, winning the Rowe Cup, Greg, but the undercard was strong, and a very interesting stat about a runner out of the Rowe Cup we'll talk about in the next 60 minutes.
We've got a lot of stats tonight, Michael Guerin. As I say, a very good evening to you. And one of those stats, our Waikiki Beach is unbeaten 16 in a row, likely to be extended this weekend.
Yeah, hi fellas, big hi to everybody at home. Yep, one big carnival wins, another superstar comes back. 16 on the bounce for Waikiki Beach, heads to Newcastle in Australia on Saturday night. He'll win that by a stretch. Then you start asking, how close can he get to Courage Under Fire, boys? 24 on end to start his career. He has a Breeders' Challenge, looks pretty easy. Breeders' Crown, he dominated last season. Maybe somewhere in the depths of winter, we'll be talking about Courage's record being tested. But guys, as we saw last week with Dream About Me, it's not always that easy.
No, it's not that straightforward. What is tonight is what's ahead for you.
This week on the box seat, the domination of Monbet continued, this time over 2 miles. The question is, can he make it 7 Group 1s for the season? The Harness Jewels colours were to the fore in both islands, including Field Marshal, who has now taken out back-to-back Group 1s ahead of next month's Emerald. 2 significant milestones in harness racing were brought up, and we have club reaction to the recent Harness Racing New Zealand Stakes announcement. We also look ahead to the weekend racing with our very own masterminds.
Let's get into it then. Head back to Alexandra Park for one of the great trotting races on the Australasian calendar. The 98th running of the Can-Am Rowe Cup had a dominant favourite who was in front in a dominant position. Let's see if he prevailed.
Chases valiantly back on the inside, then to Shimon, Queen Kenny and Velmain, but Monbet, Ricky sends him for home. He's 4 in front, Blackguard's corner, Queen Kenny, Velmain and Shimon, but it's all Monbet. 100 to go in the 2016 Can-Am Rowe Cup, and the sensational Square Gator, he'll get another Group 1 and do it emphatically. Velmain for second, Queen Kenny third.
Congratulations, Ricky May. This remarkable season for this very good trotter continues, and tonight he's run them into the deck again.
Yeah, he did, Greg. He actually over-raced a bit, to be fair. For him, he's usually pretty laid back, but, you know, I probably went as slow as I could when I got to the front. He was pretty keen in front.
Talk us through the start of the race. It was imperative you got off nice and early, so once he did that, you were able to dictate basically how the race was going to be run. Yeah, well, they weren't going that quick when I went around. I thought, oh, well, I've got to go around at some stage, so I didn't think anyone would try and hold him out because they got a good chance of getting second, so that's the way I took it. 6 Group 1s for the season. Not many are able to achieve that, and you'll be one pushing for a Horse of the Year title, I'm picking. Well, you can't say he's out of it, Greg. I don't think too many horses win 6 Group 1s in a year, and maybe the fields are not quite as good, but I mean, he's done it all, and he's got so much ability, this horse. And he's done it all as a 4-year-old. Exactly. He's only 4 too, so that makes him even better. Well, congratulations to you, Rick. I know you love winning these good races. The second win in the Rowe Cup for you. Nice work. Thanks very much, Greg.
So that's what Ricky May had to say about the performance of Monbet. Co-trainer Greg Hope was equally, well, pretty happy with his performance as well.
Well, I suppose the only query going into it was, would he get 2 miles? He's pretty clearly answered that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, we had no doubt over the 2 miles. It's easy to say afterwards, but when I brought him up as a 2-year-old, I thought maybe he mightn't have enough speed. I knew he'd be able to stay, and as it's worked out, he's got the speed as well.
Amazing season, half a dozen Group 1 wins. Everyone wants to know, can he make it 7 or will he make it 7?
Yeah, we'll get him home, and we're heading home. We brought him up on our trailer float, and we'll bring him, see how he travels home, and see how he comes through the run. And I mean, the fact that Speeding Spur's not going to be there, I mean, I know there's a couple of good ones down home that, well, you know, Sunny Ruby and the likes, but yeah, we're probably leaning towards where we might have a go at 7. Yeah, don't want to be greedy though.
No, I don't think they're being greedy. I think they're just looking after the welfare of the horse. He was brilliant again. Let's be fair, though. The depth to the Rowe Cup this year, Craig, wasn't of some of the high-quality fields we've seen in the past.
What a loss Speeding Spur during the week, which took a bit of gloss off the race. But he's had a wonderful season. He's been beaten once in New Zealand this season, Greg, and I think he'll be better next year. I mean, he won that race over racing as well. I mean, I was a bit worried about the 2 miles, but when you pull that hard and still get away with a dominant victory, good runs out of the race, Velmain, the old boy. Actually, interesting stat about Velmain, what I want to talk about at the start of the show about him was he's raced 102 times. And out of those 102 times, he's raced every month from 2013. He's missed 1 month. Can't remember another horse that raced for 3 years, Michael Guerin, that had 1 month off in 3 years. And he still ran second in a Rowe Cup in 2016.
And his reward, Craig, is he gets to take on Monbet, which must have been a bundle of laughs for him. He's probably indicative, Velmain, of what's happened to this open class trotting crop, because Monbet is so good. And let's get him out of the way first. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I think potentially he could be the best in Lyell Creek. He's still got a long way to go to catch, take a moment, and I can do it. But potentially, fellas, I think we all agree he's somewhere in the mix there. But so many horses have fallen by the wayside. Stent was remarkable last season, gone. Master Ladros was there for part of the season, but gone again. Habibti went to Australia. Even go further back, King Denny never came up, disappeared again. And then obviously Speeding Spur. So he's been the right horse in the right place. You still need a bit of luck. A lot of good horses do. Would he still be the best? I think he would. It's pretty hard to argue he's not quicker than these horses. He's only for so much to look forward to. And God help him, God bless him. He's a gelding. He's a gelding. Because what we've seen so much, and the great weakness for thoroughbred racing in Australasia, is they keep retiring all their stars. All the good ones get retired. And it's really hard to tell people to go to the races to see horses you don't know the names of. You know, so you get a Winx once in a while. All the other good gallopers retire. So what we're seeing with the trotters is we can bank on him for the following season and the following season and the following season if he doesn't get injured, fellas. He has the potential to go ahead and be one of the all-time greats.
All right, of course, it was only the 7th fastest Rowe Cup when you put the time in perspective. But the key to it was going to be the start, given that he had drawn one off the back row, Michael. And Ricky May ensured that he was off nice and early and then took the race by the scruff. Yeah,
nice and patient here in those harness jewels colours, which have been cashing in so much in the last couple of weeks. There is up the inside. Ricky's job, get away from the inside. Probably the other big Group 1 winner in the race, Shimon, gets to the lead early, fellas, but Shimon's clearly not as good as he can be. Yes, it's a weak field, but by the same token, I Can Do's it raced in a weak Rowe Cup, so did Lyell Creek. So they all have their turns at racing in some weaker races. What does he do now? Pretty hard to say. He's not going to come to the jewels. That will raise the question we can discuss a little bit later on. Where does that put them in the Horse of the Year voting?
All right, we can do that for sure. What about those who finished in behind Monbet?
Blair, he's just a neat little racehorse and he's gone fantastic again.
Yeah, he has, Greg. You know, he's travelled many miles up and down the country, and you know, Craig and Josh having a lot of fun with him. And you know, we just got that luck that we needed tonight to run second to a very good horse, and we got that, and he obliged.
Well, Nathan, she's really stood up tonight, hasn't she?
Yeah, no, she's gone a great race. She got a lovely run, but she's a real creditable run. So no, I think everyone's thrilled.
Group 1 placing for her not only enhances her breeding career, but you know, the future's still pretty bright for her. She's only really lightly tried.
Yeah, that's right. Look, yeah, she's obviously very well bred too, and yeah, no, I think they're absolutely thrilled with the Group 1 placing. So no, it bodes well for a future and as a broodmare.
Well, Kevin, he did everything right tonight, but he's just not the Shimon of 12 or 18 months ago.
No, he's not, Greg. You know, you just said he was a certainty to run second a year ago there, but no, I can't put our finger on it, but he's down in performance what he used to be.
Okay, so what do you do now? What do you do in this situation? You've been in this game a long time. Have you got any plans or any remedies you think you can come up with?
I've tried a few already, and he's had a good spell and brought back, and he did win 2 easy ones first up from a spell. So I guess spell again and just go fresh, but his days of beating the best ones might be in jeopardy.
Matt, I'm sure that was a pretty big buzz driving this guy.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. You know, he's come a long way in a short time, and you know, we're just always asking the question. He keeps delivering and puts his best foot forward all the time. So yeah, all round pretty heavy.
Yeah, look, he didn't disappoint you. He went around, had to sit parked, sat outside a superstar, and he never gave it up, did he?
No, that's right. Fought to the line nicely, Greg, and you know, ticking the boxes for us so far. So you know, come next season, he'll be brighter and fitter, and he'll be right thereabouts. So yeah, pretty heavy.
He did a great job, didn't he? Blackguard's corner, he had to move around them when you consider Michael, he was only in a 1 to 2 win race about 3 weeks ago. Big step.
Yeah, he's come a long way, but probably in conducive of what the field's like, really. It wasn't a superstar field. You can't do more than win, though, Craig. Going forward to the duels, he'll dominate that section. I think $1.15 is about as long as they'll probably go. For you, because you'll get a vote, we all get a vote for Horse of the Year, you start to look at where these horses' seasons end and what it all means. Would victory in the duels give him any added bonus points in a vote, which I presume is probably going to be for Horse of the Year, him versus Have Faith in Me?
Well, I think only 5 trotters have won Horse of the Year in the past, and no 4-year-old trotters won Horse of the Year. 7 Group 1s would be something spectacular. I was asked this question during the week, and I thought, had he won a 7th Group 1 and won the duels, if you'd asked me after that, I'd probably say I would vote for him as Horse of the Year.
So if he wins the duels, you'll vote for him?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
All right, I don't think that the duels victory will make any difference to my decision because he's won 6 at free-for-all level. That's an age group win. Whereas Have Faith in Me, which clearly it's a 2-horse race, he's had 1, which was in the Chariots and he bolted in that, and the other 2 were free-for-all Auckland Cup and obviously his record run in the Miracle Mile. I'll be going with Have Faith in Me because those 2 performances where he's beaten those horses that have won everything else, Michael.
Lenny the Shark and Smolder.
Yep, that's the reason I'll be going for
What
him.
you do find with the Horse of the Year is the deeper you get into the season, and the trotters have an advantage because obviously the Rowe Cup's not till late April, whereas Have Faith in Me's season basically ended February 28. Then people start to remember the things they saw last, and I've seen this for a lot of time. I'll wait for Have Faith in Me because, as you said, he came from behind to beat Lenny the Shark, who won everything else, and Smolder in the Auckland Cup, who won everything else.
And that's not decrying from Monbet at all.
You can only vote for one.
Yeah, at all.
You know, it's.
I mean, we voted different last year. I mean, I think I voted Lazarus to beat Chase the Dream in the 3-year-old category last year. It's a one person's vote. You know, I didn't get it right, but it doesn't mean we got it wrong.
Well, also, you need to take into perspective what you're beating. You can only beat what turns up. But Monbet's not beating great horses. Have Faith in Me did beat great horses. That's why I'll vote. By the same token, if he comes at wins the duels by 18 lengths and goes 151, I'll vote for him.
Our final show on the 8th will allow us to wrap up the harness duels, but we'll also go through a few of those other categories as well, and by then I'm pretty sure
Well, the interesting one's Lazarus versus Waikiki Beach. Waikiki Beach is unbeaten at the moment. Lazarus will probably clean sweep him.
All right, we'll have a look at that. Let's have a look at the Messenger. Very good horse, of course, won the Taylor Mile last week, and he's in the yellow colours again, Field Marshal. This is the 49th running of the Dawson Harford and Partners New Zealand Messenger.
They come for home for Messenger Glory. Hug the win. Field Marshal getting home strongly. Back on the inside, Robbie Burns and Risk, and then My Kiwi made it. Hug the wind. Here's Field Marshal lengthening strongly. Back on the inside, Robbie Burns, and then My Kiwi mate. Field Marshal, though, this magnificent 4-year-old, he'll come away for another Group 1 win. Second, My Kiwi mate. Photo third.
Dexter, when you look at this horse as a specimen, it's hardly surprising that he's a very good racehorse.
Yeah, no, he's been, especially the last couple of weeks, Greg, you know, Tim's had him in top shape, and he's come out on the track and looked $1 million and, you know, also ran like it.
Was there a plan, or did you just want to see how the others got out of the gate and therefore it dictated what was going to unfold for you?
Yeah, I was a bit like I probably talked to you, you know, on the TV before the race. You know, we sort of had options. You know, came out for a little bit early, but, you know, the sort of ones inside us were punching it pretty hard, and so we just sort of took hold and slotted in a good spot, and then obviously it got better when, you know, at the 800 there, when Johnny obviously choked down, had to pull out of the race, and we landed the 1-1. So, you know, it just worked out perfect for him.
He's run to them very quickly, as he can do though. He's pricked his ears and he was half by waiting for them again.
Yeah, he knocked off a bit on me, and I was a bit careful of Robbie Burns. Obviously, you know, had the trail and it finished off really good last week. So, you know, I was sort of hoping he'd keep going, but he's that kind of horse, but he, you know, he'd done enough by then to obviously be clear to win the race, and yeah, luckily there was nothing flashing at him, but it was a great effort.
With his gate speed heading towards Cambridge, if he is able to get a frontline draw, you might be able to use that part of his game as well.
Yeah, if you draw the front line there, there won't be too many about to hold him out early, Greg. He's, if you really light him up early, he's, he can really hum. But, the good thing about him is he'll come back to you after that and settle. So, he's just really showing the all-round game at the moment, and he's coming to the races, and each time he comes, he's proving that he's, a really nice horse.
You're now a 3-time winner of the Messenger Championship. Congratulations.
Yep, thanks a lot, Greg, and thanks to Connections for giving me the drive.
Yeah, very patient drive it was too, Michael Guerin. You've written about this in the past. This is the race where horses go on to be champions. I don't know that he'll be a champion, but by Jose, he's a good horse.
Yeah, as you said, 9 of the top 15 or last 15 have gone on to win an Auckland Cup or New Zealand Cup. Tintin in America, who won this race, ran second in an Auckland Cup. So it's the doorstep to being a champion. Tim Butt, interestingly, after the race said, I'm not looking at the New Zealand Cup, and I don't think he's a natural New Zealand Cup horse, but gee, there's plenty of other races for him. Again, not a strong bunch at the moment because the top 2 are gone. Could he beat Have Faith in Me? Probably not, but he'll get his chance in the future. You talk about voting in perspective. If he wins the Jewels, and it's very hard to go past him not to win the Jewels, then he would have won 3 Group 1s, which is as many as Have Faith in Me. And that's where perspective comes in, because while both would have won 3 Group 1s, the difference in what they did is enormous. So, Craig, interesting part out of the race, my Kiwi mate has now been invited to the Jewels. I think a pretty good invite, because it's hard to make a case that he's not the second best 4-year-old going around.
He was the second best runner of the race, obviously. I mean, he was the only one to move. It was a very sedate messenger from about till about the 600-metre mark as we catch the start here. Quick beginning by Hug the Win and Little Rascal, who put a bit of pressure on the early leader, Hug the Win, which set them up for that near record time. But my Kiwi mate's run, Michael, was absolutely outstanding, because he took off from the 604 wide, where Dexter had a beautiful trip in the 1-1. And he was still coming at the line. So he deserves his invite, and I think he'll make his presence felt at Cambridge. He gets a good draw. He'll be very dangerous there because he has a little bit of gate speed. Other runners, Hug the Win, got pressured quite distinctly from about the mile onwards with Little Rascal choking down. So his run to run third was certainly good, and I thought Robbie Burns was okay and behind. But you can't take it away from the winner. I agree with Michael. I don't see him as a New Zealand Cup horse. I probably don't even see him as an Inter-Dominion horse. I don't think Perth will be his type of track. I do see him as a Grand Circuit horse, though. I think he'd suit definitely that type.
He's won 8 from 10 this campaign, of course. He's been outstanding. What about those who he beat?
Well, Tony, Craig was hoping he'd improve off the back of that run last week, and he clearly did.
Yeah, he did. He's a lovely big horse. It was a good trip. They've gone 3:15. He's come 4 wide around the last bend there, and stuck to his guns all the way down the straight. And he kept pinching a wee bit off the winner too. But the winner did win good and went great. So and he's a lovely horse. But Craig was wrapped with him, so that's the main thing. And hopefully he just gets enough money to stay for the Jewels.
Barry, you must be delighted with that performance.
Yeah, it was great. Greg, he went super early. He didn't get much peace in front, and just no one's fault. A horse choked outside him, so that's just the way it goes. But I was really wrapped. He showed plenty of courage in the straight.
Compared to last week, which I think we just put down as a bad night out, really.
Yeah, well, usually you can put your finger on something. It was just one of those situations we couldn't really. His blood tests were all good, and he came home and ate up, and it was just one of those things that we don't really know what happened. But anyway, he's turned it back round tonight. So
he certainly has, and onwards to the Jewels now.
Yeah, looking forward to that, Greg. So we'll give him a freshen up now.
Tim, that's 2 good runs behind Field Marshal in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. He's rounding into a nice horse, as Robert and John thought he would, and these 2 runs are probably going to be the making of him. You're probably a little bit disappointed on face value tonight. He just raced a little bit keenly. He never really dropped a bit. I think it probably cost him finishing in a further forward spot, but like you say, he had his chance and he raced super.
All right, so those were in behind. I applaud Harness Racing New Zealand for inviting my Kiwi mate. I think he's come over here, he's made his presence felt, and he deserves that spot. And of course, the market for the Jewels, the Emerald for the 4-year-olds, well, Field Marshal, he's going to be a dominant favourite.
Talk about dominant favourites. Gee, there's going to be some shorties in these early markets. Only 3 of them open so far. Arms and Angels, $1.45 for her one. We're going to see Monbet open very, very short. I'm not entirely sure there'll be an Australian visitor for that. Here's the market for the 4-year-old boys. There you go, $1.40 Field Marshal. No, I don't want to be taking $1.40 for Field Marshal. No. Really surprising here, my Kiwi mate $6.50. I can deal with that, Craig, but I don't see him being on the same mark as Say My Name and Tasman Bromac being ahead of Hug the Wind. To me, I think Hug the Wind is clear clear third pick in this race.
Yeah, he was much better last week than he was the week before, Michael, and he's got very good gate speed. It'll come down to draws. I think Barfield Marshall, the rest are very even. That's highlighted in that market at the moment. But, I mean, Field Marshall, I mean, gee, 2 years ago, Greg, he was getting 20% of that oxygen. They had a wind operation. It's been a huge benefit to him. And now, I mean, I can see him just getting better and better. I mean, he was so dominant through the Taylor Mile, better into the Messenger. He's got a spell going now into the Jewels, and he's only raced, what, 12 times this season? So, 8 times this season. So he's lightly raced. I find it very hard post-barrier draw to tip anything against him.
Look, I think it's really good that Tim Butt's got another good horse, because the knowledge you get on the Grand Circuit for 20 years, which Tim has, is knowledge which is important. And there's a lot of complaints in harness racing that Mark and Natalie dominate too much. And is that good for the industry? It's easy to argue it's not. So you need Barry to have good horses. You need Tim Butt to have good horses. Great. It's nice that people like the Hopes are getting involved and new people come into the game as well. I have no doubts about that. But that when you head to the Grand Circuit next year, if you see this, and Tim Butt with Field Marshall, you go, okay, well, he's a player. He's not an idiot. He'll know what he's doing here. So having those top trainers with good horses increases the base, and it makes these big races more interesting, rather than saying there's 2 or 3 winning chances, the rest have got no chance. So it's good to see him. If Tim has a skill, and he's the best at it in Australasia, the absolute best, it's horse placement on the Grand Circuit. He's the best at finding the right races for them I've ever seen in either code.
All right, that's a fairly big rap, and also you said he's not an idiot. He'll be pleased to know that you think he's not an idiot.
Look, I can't guarantee he's not an idiot. I don't think he is.
All right, we're not far away from taking a break. Just before we go there, don't forget about the PGG rights and Wheeling and all-age sale. They've got one coming up, I think it's about the 12th, Thursday week. And then there's one the Friday leading into the Jewels. Smart move there as well. We need to go to a break, though, and take in one of these milestones we were talking about. 500 wins in his career. He certainly went to town this night.